Alright guys, so welcome back to another Patreon request, and this one comes from Cyborg 19.99. And as always, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and yeah, there you can hit the 4th tier, not only get all the exclusive videos over on Patreon, but also send me a request to do a video here on YouTube. And yeah, so basically what we have here, the title's a little misleading, but what we have here is a 4-way crossover between Mortal Kombat, Amphibia, Star Versus, and the Owl House. Yeah, this is a big one. Like, I know I picked a better title because trying to throw all that in one sitting would have been a lot. It would have been it'd have been a lot. Like, that's all I could say, is like trying to do all of that in one go would have been all but impossible. Like, it literally would have all been all but impossible. Yeah, so here we go. So the story basically begins with the realms of Muni, the Boiling Isles, and Amphibia all getting reports in from basically they're all getting reports simultaneously of strange beings. Like, now they're not keeping in contact with one another. It's just like at roughly the same time in each of those worlds, there's like invaders showing up. Like, there's different like Tarkatans and Shokan and all these different like assassins and whatnot showing up and like testing fighters, like testing, you know, the grounds for their respective royalty. So obviously this is going to be getting some eyebrows raised among the royal gentry. So at this time we have and this will be somewhere nebulously for each one. So we have so this is like during the Eclipse's reign. This is also during when Belos is at the height of his power, and this is also when Andreas is still seen as the good king and whatnot, and the girls are all kind of on their own little adventures. So what happens is basically they're all like, Andreas is the first one to go, this is kind of heavy, and like I've heard rumors, like there were always, like he tells Marcy, like there were always like these tales back in the days of old, like during the reign of when my father, long before I was born, my father, when he was freshly made king, there was like talks of like a war of the realms. There was an all-out attack from another realm called Outworld, and Outworld had this powerful emperor named Shao Kahn, and Shao Kahn invaded several worlds and like took the worlds for his own rule. So if it is Shao Kahn that has come to our lands, we have a major problem, because Shao Kahn don't fucking play. Yeah, Shao Kahn don't fucking play, and we need help. We basically need to rally our armies and also get the strongest fighters together. Meanwhile, while this is going on, we also have Eclipse, who's like, oh shit, I know Shao Kahn. Ages ago, my mother, Meteora, fought back an invasion from Outworld and actually fought Shao Kahn. He almost killed her in a fight. So we need help. If this is Shao Kahn, we need help, and we need it now. Belos is also all up in his tower, like, fuck. If this is like, he's reading, because he never encountered Shao Kahn. He's like just reading through old texts of like warriors of Outworld after he gets a dead Tarkatan. Some of the members of the Emperor's Coven are like, they managed to kill the Tarkatan after it killed several guardsmen. It's not Baraka, by the way. But basically, he's like studying the body and like reads old texts about the Emperor of Outworld, and he's like, oh, fucking Christ, I gotta do something. So it's actually Eclipse who actually like reaches out to uses a spell to open up to other worlds, and she opens up to the worlds of Amphibia and the Boiling Isles. And she reaches out to them going, hey, guys, hi, I'm Eclipsa. I don't know if you guys have heard of me, but, like, we need to work together. And already, like, Star is immediately like, these guys, I don't trust them. This Andreas and Belos guy, I really do not trust anyone with that kind of, I don't trust anyone like that. And Eclipse is like, I know, I'm not a fan of either of these people. Because it turns out, yeah, the Boiling Isles, Amphibia, and Muni all had a big war. There was a massive war of the three, it was called the War of the Three Realms. And, in the War of the Three Realms, Muni, Amphibia, and the Boiling Isles all went to war with each other after, and, like, basically, magic was going out of control, and everyone wanted each other's magic. It was like a magic arms race, and the three worlds went to war with each other. But Eclipsa is basically like, you guys know who's coming, right? If this is who we think it is, if it is Shao Kahn leading the armies of Outworld, we need to get our shit together. All that happened in the past, that's the past. What matters now, I don't like either of you, and we can have another War of Three Realms in the future. But right now, we need a united front between the most of us. And Belos and Andreas are like, sure, why not? Fine. And Andreas has got to keep up appearances in front of Marcy, and he's like, sure, the people of Amphibia will stand with Muni. And they all look at Belos, who's like, I'm not working with witches, or whatever freaks you are. And Twist Andreas is like, fine. We want, we'll fight to, Amphibia and Muni should be strong enough on our own. We don't need the Boiling Isles. Yeah, when Shao Kahn comes to the Boiling Isles and makes you, his bitch, we'll tell you so. So Belos is like, oh, son of a bitch. Fine. So this is when Eclipsa basically tells them, look, Shao Kahn is coming. Like, it's inevitable now that Shao Kahn is going to be, Outworld is going to invade us. We need our strongest warriors. You guys have strong warriors? And they're like, yeah, we can probably find some people. So Andreas more or less gets together Marcy, Anne, and Sasha, and Grimes. He gets together like Yunin and everyone, like the strongest fighters. On Muni, Star, Marco, Moon, Tom, all of them join up. Meanwhile, on the Boiling Isles, Belos, he basically goes to Ida and says, there is a war coming, and I will be lenient with you for the time being if you join us in this war. I'm calling for a truce, but make no mistake, when this is over, I'm turning your ass to stone. But for now, me controlling the Boiling Isles is more important to me than killing you. But make no mistake, when this is over, I am going to kill you. And Ida's like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. And he's like, fine. Who's going to save your child Who's going to save your child and your little pet when Shao Kahn comes? And Ida's like, oh, fucking fine. So now we have all the armies of the three worlds uniting to prepare for Shao Kahn, and he comes in hard. And you may be thinking, wait a minute, doesn't he need the tournament? Doesn't he need the tournament to do that? Like, to take over a world, he needs to win 10 tournaments? Not necessarily. You see, Shao Kahn's kind of circumvented that because they're not worlds that were made part of the deal for Shao Kahn to invade. So he could literally be like, I don't need to win the tournament 10 times with each world and do this for 30 fucking years. I can just go in hot because you guys never made the deal. Like, you guys never were a part of that deal with the Elder Gods. So I can just waltz in and take what I want, and you can't fucking stop me. And yeah, so Shao Kahn invades on all three fronts. He invades on Muni, Boiling Isles, and Amphibia simultaneously, and the War of the Four Realms begins. Yeah, now we've gone to the War of the Four Realms. And it's a bloody conflict. Like, you have enemies and allies united to stop Shao Kahn and his forces. You have, like, all of these major, fighters. You have like Tom and Amity working together. You have Marco with Luz. I wanted to have like a fun scene where like Luz and Marco are like talking in Spanish real quick, and everyone's like, "What, guys? English, please!" And they're like, "Putos," right? Then there's like Star. Oh, I wanted to have this great scene where like Star and Anne power up. Like Anne goes full blue. A little early, I know, because we're doing this in season 2. But hey, it's fan fiction. You can do it's fuck you. It's my continuity. That's that's the best way I can describe it. So Anne going full blue and Star using her royal butterfly form. The two of them just start wrecking like giant monsters, even fighting Motaro. Motaro, they tag team. Anne and Star tag team against Motaro and Kintaro. So you have that. You have Sasha getting into a fight with in a sword versus gun fight with Aaron Black. You have all of this shit going on, like all of this crazy, wild shit. And meanwhile, Bellos is like, this war is going to go so bad. It's going to go so bad. I'm going to go make an alliance, and the Boiling Isles will like unite with the Outworld, and we'll see what we can do. But really, he's just there to try to assassinate Shao Kahn himself. And that doesn't work, because Shao Kahn pushes Bellos' shit in, and at the same time, he also tries to convince Andreas, because the war's going kind of poorly. So Andreas and Bellos tried to turn on Eclipsa, who was like the de facto leader of this alliance, and they both get their shit wrecked when he's like, yes, when you both subject your worlds to me, and they're like, wait a minute, you're not going to let us rule the worlds? No. I'm Emperor of Outworld. I'm not letting you be governors. You're either slaves or you're dead. That's all you are to me. And Bellos and Andreas are like, fuck this guy. And Bellos and Andreas get their shit wrecked, and they have to flee. And also, like, that's when everyone realizes you were going to turn on Muni. Amphibia, you were going to have the armies of Amphibia and the Boiling Isles unite with Shao Kahn and turn on Muni, and the War of the Four Realms would be over with Shao Kahn winning. And they're like, yeah? Were you expecting anything? Like, Andreas plays it off as like, I had to make a call, and like, Bellos convinced me to join. I'm sorry, it was the wrong thought process at the time. I should have known better. And Bellos is like, you dick. So thanks for throwing me under the bus, asshole. So by the war's end, it really comes down to Anne, Star, and Luz facing off with Shao Kahn after they invade like his castle, and have to fight their way up into the castle to take on Shao Kahn. With their combined power, they manage to wound him enough, but the problem is Shao Kahn's still going. Like, he's wounded, but he's still going. But by this point, what happens is what Ida's been doing this whole time. Let's talk about what Ida's been up to. Ida has basically been working with Moon and Yunin to find a way to talk to the Elder Gods, and more or less kind of convince them to like put them under their protection. So what happens is that while Shao Kahn is now like getting his second win and kicking the shit out of the three girls, what happens is Raiden comes down and he's just like, enough! Shao Kahn, you have more or less broken the laws on this. They've now been under the protection of the Elder Gods, and the only way you can win win these worlds is through mortal combat. And I assure you, the people of Earthrealm will stand with them, and it will be the War of 5 Realms. You can take on 3 worlds, but you cannot take on 4. And that's when Shao Kahn's like, done. So he pulls back his forces rather than face the wrath of the Elder Gods, and all the people return to their respective worlds. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much Mortal Kombat War of the Four Realms. There you go. So, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you all think of this? And like to thank Cyborg 19.99 for this story and continued patronage. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said earlier, if you would like to have a Patreon done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.